So Ted Cruz came in second and was a very relevant player in this election cycle on the Republican side, obviously. So let's do a little retrospective on Ted Cruz's campaign.
Chris, I would note that the last 4 questions had been, Rand, please attack Ted. Marco, please attack Ted. Chris, please attack Ted. Jeb, please attack Ted. Let me just say this.
It is a debate, sir.
We rolled out a spending plan, $500 billion in specific cuts. 5 major agencies that I would eliminate: the IRS, the Department of Commerce, the Department of Energy, the Department of Commerce, and HUD. And you look at the questions. Donald Trump, are you a comic book villain? Ben Carson, can you do math? John Kasich, will you insult 2 people over here? Marco Rubio, why don't you resign? Jeb Bush, why have your numbers fallen?
I've looked at the candidates. Ted Cruz is my man. He fits the bill. He's got me. He loves us. He's the man for the job, and he will go duck hunting, because today we're going. Ted Cruz is my man.
Are you taking off? Come on.
Yeah, they're going with me.
Hey, let's hop out of the way.
We're taking it.
Good job. Good job. That means the next time a jihadist walks into a recruiting center in Chattanooga, Tennessee, he's going to encounter the business end of firearms wielded by a dozen Marines.
Ready?
Good job. Good job. Under no circumstances will Iran be allowed to acquire nuclear weapons. And if the Ayatollah doesn't understand that, we may have to help introduce him to his 72 virgins. All right, let's see if we've got some bacon. All right. Machine gun bacon.
I wished I had spent time in the service. It's something I respect immensely, but it just ended up as I went from high school to college to law school and on to a career. It just seemed there was always something else.
This is nuts. And while I'm at it, I guess I should go ahead and admit, yes, my dad killed JFK. He is secretly Elvis, and Jimmy Hoffa is buried in his backyard.
I don't get angry often, but you mess with my wife, you mess with my kids, that'll do it every time. Donald, you're a sniveling coward, and leave Heidi the hell alone.
So will you support him as the nominee?
I'm going to beat him.
I have come to the conclusion that if I am nominated to be President of the United States, that I will run on a ticket with my vice presidential nominee, Carly Fiorina.
I know 2 girls that I just adore. I'm so happy I can see them more.
From the beginning, I've said that I would continue on as long as there was a viable path to victory. Tonight, I'm sorry to say, it appears that path has been foreclosed. We are suspending our campaign.
Crime campaign.
So, and then of course the last image of Ted Cruz phone banking.
Oh,
that hurts.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Carly Fiorina was his running mate for 2.5 days. I think.
She was the shortest VP candidate ever.
She dropped out of the race multiple times.
But didn't she fall too? She's the one that fell
did
into
fall,
that.
yeah.
She kind of literally dropped.
The amazing thing is what you saw in that final video is that even someone as obviously odious as Ted Cruz, who is so bad at projecting this macho image that he was, like, you're never going to be macho. Stop trying to do that. Who's awkward, can't have an authentic family moment to save his life, and has horrible policies. There are people who, when he was dropping out, were like, no, like, seriously loved this guy.
Well, there's the religious crowd. I met some of those people at a Ted Cruz rally. They're mostly older and overly religious. That's who was really into, he really went into the overly religious people.
Yeah, as we go through all the different Republican candidates of Christmas past, of primaries past, it's one after another that's worse than the one before, right? Just when you look at Jeb Bush and you go pathetic, and you look at Ben Carson and you go shameful, shameless, right? Then you go to Ted Cruz and you're like, oh my God, he's even worse. Like, his policies were, more friendly to the rich and the powerful and the multinational corporations than any of them, right? Including even Donald Trump. And so
his signature foreign policy policy that he wanted to pursue was carpet bombing Middle Eastern cities.
Remember it? Let's make their sand glow, turn into glass, and we're like, hey, wait, where are you going to carpet bomb? Like, doesn't that mean you're going to kill citizens? No. I'm just going to carpet bomb the terrorists.
It's strategic carpet bombing.
Strategic carpet.
Yes.
There is no strategic carpet bombing. That's why it's carpet bombing. You bomb everything, right?
It's not throw rug bombing.
So are we going to pretend, though? Are we going to pretend that Ted Cruz isn't creepy?
I know. That's what I was getting to.
When he did the kiss.
You know, my first death threats came from the Ted Cruz people because I said that they were like, he's doing somebody's work. I was like, yeah, the KKK. Like, I was they look at him and he's like a hero. Yeah. But they did studies about how he has the physical makeup and he has the personality traits and the nonverbal behavior of a serial killer. Like there were like there were several studies, like psychologists, psychotherapists. They were like he has the makeup. Very similar to Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy, yes.
And it's just really.
Well, he looks like a cross between Joe McCarthy and Charlie McCarthy.
Yes.
Right, he really does.
Yes.
So now that's part of where that myth that he was a Zodiac killer came out of. What I was greatly amused by is that some people actually believed it. They're like,
oh yeah, the Zodiac killer.
Yeah, the Zodiac killer's running for president. It's not a big deal. No, that would be a big deal. That would it probably wouldn't work. So I saw the studies that studied his face.
Yeah.
They're like, you got to fix your face.
Bastard.
Fix your face.
And so now that I actually feel bad about.
They didn't say he needed Botox. He needed Clorox.
Oh, God. Okay.
You want to wipe that clean.
Okay. No, but in all seriousness, there's nothing you can do about his face, so I feel bad about that for him, right? Like he happens to have a very unfortunate face for a politician if you want people to trust you.
There's nothing he can do about his face.
Slight improvement if he were to walk around literally wearing a Ted Cruz mask.
Okay. But so the part that's real to me is I couldn't believe, like Ida was saying in the beginning, I couldn't believe that people took him like they thought, and John mentioned it too, that they trusted him. Because he has that fake, smarmy politician demeanor. That's okay, not about anything about his facial features, but like he'd look into the camera like this, like
disingenuous.
Yeah, and let me tell you something about the American people. And you're like, dude, I've seen that from 1,000 politicians. Yeah. You guys the Ted Cruz supporters were supposed to be the most hardcore. We don't like the mainstream. We don't like the establishment, and we want a populist. We want somebody who's real. And you pick that smarmy ass as your real politician?
It's a bit of the Martin O'Malley. Like Martin O'Malley was charming, whereas Ted Cruz is creepy, but they both have that. You've studied tapes of what politicians in the 90s were like, and you're just trying to do that. We're like, I'm really thinking about you.
Yes.
He didn't even like that Machine Gun Bacon. Did you see his face? Machine Gun Bacon. Do you remember that face? It wasn't even good.
It's no faux gras, but anyway, it's okay. And he says, these Ivy League towers. He said he went to Princeton, he went to Harvard. He is the establishment.
His wife.
He took $13 million from a Wall Street executive named Mercer. And then why do you think he did that pathetic phone banking for Trump and endorsing him at the end? Because his donors told him to bow his head, and he did because he's a scummy politician.
And he couldn't schedule any military time because things happened.
Other things
things happen. I mean,
I had touch football on the weekends.
I had ultimate frisbee.
I play bridge.
I mean, where am I going to squeeze in service?
I had to go make money.
Yeah.
I had a career. I had shit to do. The military's for people who don't have shit to do.
The whole 2-hour podcast of the Young Turks, commercial free.
You're gonna get it.
If you become a member, tytnetwork.com/join.